Hare Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Gita Gaur Premanande.
Hari 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 Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much to ISV youth team for the wonderful melodious kirtan. I would like to welcome you all for this unique event, the Bhadra Dana Yajna, conducted by Bhaktivedanta Trust, BBT, and ISKCON of Silicon Valley. So welcome to this uncommon event of this year, 2020. With this historic moment we are going to celebrate. And as you know, the gopis are eagerly waiting for the Purnima, the full moon day, to come to dance with Krishna. So similarly, this particular day, the power of giving of Srimad Bhagavatam is waiting, and much awaited things is coming to happen today. Let's join together to celebrate this great event. Combined with the hybrid program, Ahobilam in India, as well as online to the global leaders, global devotees who are participating. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, many of us, 12, 13, 30, it says, Prasthapadyam Purnamasyam Hemasingha Samanritam Dadati Yo Bhagavatam Savati Paramam Gatim. If on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. So we know we celebrate in ISKCON Janmashtami, the birth of Krishna, and also Ramnavami, the birth of Lord Ramchandra, as well as Gaur Purnima, the birth of Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and Snana Jatra as Jagannath's birthday. So similarly, let's celebrate. We have Gita Jayanti for the appearance of Bhagavad Gita in the month of December. So this special day, let's celebrate to welcome Srimad Bhagavatam, distribute Srimad Bhagavatam, give to each and every part of this world, to everyone, every family. My name is Balimardan Das. I'm part of ISKCON Silicon Valley Temple, and also on behalf of ISV and BBD, I'll be the hosting today the Master Ceremony MC, and will be taking you through this surprising and the most interesting event of this year, the Bhadra Dana Yajna, which is much awaited. And we know knowledge is the best gift. Is here September 1st, 2020, and September 2nd, 2020 in India will be the historic moment for us. The real historic moment in the ISKCON is really opening the legendary for all of us to really join and celebrate, to open up this culture of Bhagavatam, which Prabhupada has come not with the deities of Krishna, not with the deities of Gauranga. He came the real deities of Srimad Bhagavatam, fully loaded in his trunk and distributed in New York City and all over America. So I would like to also give quick update on this program today, what we are going to do. It's a jam-packed program. Those who have not received the agenda, I would like to share a few of these items which should be coming up. Mostly, we'll start with the Go Puja. As you know, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada always mentioned Atma Mata Guru Patni Brahmani Rajapatnika Dhenur Dhatri Tatha Prithvi Saptaita Matara Smrita. So Go is one of the mother. So we are going to start with our program with worshipping Mother Surabhi. And after going through the worship of Mother Surabhi, Giraj Swami Maharaj is going to give a small talk on Srimad Bhagavatam, following with an ecstatic kirtan by Gauramani Devidasi from Vrindavan. Because of her internet, she won't be able to join in person, but we'll hear the ecstatic kirtan from her. And our dear leader, His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, will follow with a small talk on Srimad Bhagavatam. And not only that, it's mixed with katha and dance and kirtan. So Anjali also will be performing the Dasavatar dance. Not only that, Amarendra Prabhu, the great speaker on Bhagavatam, he's going to also glorify the greatest place on the earth, which is celebrity, might have been seen in the video, Ahobilam, which will be just now in one of these corner. You might be seeing this Yajna place is preparing right now with the leadership of Sri Ram Prabhu and many other devotees back in Ahobilam. So last but not, and then Kishori Devi Mataji, as well as Bhakti Raghav Swami, and followed with His Holiness Javataka Swami and senior devotees from India will be presenting, will be offering the Purnahati at the end, and there will be concluding remarks from back in India team. So also not but the least, our Kunjari from Team ISP also will be singing the Narsingha prayer. So please stay tuned with us to go through this whole program and learn many of these aspects of this Bhagavatam culture of this Bhadra Purnima. Bhadra Dana Yajna program ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we will begin the next program, which is worshipping of the cow, the Go Puja.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha, Jagad Hitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha, Jagad Hitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha, Jagad Hitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Surabhyaya Namaha, Om Surabhyaya Namaha, Om Surabhyaya Namaha. Esha Pushpanjali Jai. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha, Jagad Hitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Surabhyaya Namaha, Om Surabhyaya Namaha, Om Surabhyay Namaha. Esha Pushpanjali. Jai. Namo Brahmanya Devaya. Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya. Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Surabhyay Namaha. Om Surabhyay Namaha. Om Surabhyay Namaha. Esha Pushpanjali. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Not inside, outside is better.
Prabhu.
No.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for watching this Go Puja. Om Sisrabhyaya Namaha. Such a wonderful both incidents you can see in Ahobilam, like Go Puja is still going on. At the same time, it is my honor and privilege to really welcome our one of the dignitaries guest, which is such a senior leader and one of the dearmost disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He was originally also a BBT trustee, and we like to hear some inspirational talk from His Holiness Giriraj Swami. He has joined from Santa Barbara, California. Welcome, Maharaj. Back to you.
Thank you. It is a great honor and privilege and pleasure for me to be with all of you on such an auspicious occasion in such exalted association. I thought I would begin by reading an excerpt from a talk that Srila Prabhupada gave on January 5th, 1974 in Los Angeles on Srimad Bhagavatam 1:16-8, which combines the two important elements of today's celebration, which is the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam and the importance of the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada said, "This is the Bhagavat. There is no comparison. There is no literature throughout the universe like Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no comparison. There is no competition. Every word is for the good of the human society. Every word, each and every word. Therefore, we stress so much on book distribution. Somehow or other, if the book goes in one's hand, he will be benefited. At least he will think, oh, they have taken so much price. Let me see what is there. If he reads one shloka, his life will be successful. If he reads one shloka, one word, this is such a nice thing. Therefore, we are stressing so much. Please distribute book, distribute book, distribute book. A greater mridanga. We are chanting, playing our mridanga. It is heard within this room or a little more. But this mridanga will go home to home, country to country, community to community. This mridanga, Brihad mridanga. So, of course, Srimad Bhagavatam has influenced all of our lives and is guiding all of our lives. And one of the last purports that Srila Prabhupada dictated when he was lying on his bed in Vrindavan stresses the importance of our reading Srimad Bhagavatam and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, and these words were captured in his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 10:13:54, which was one of the very last he dictated. So Srila Prabhupada said, we should discuss Srimad Bhagavatam daily as much as possible, and then everything will be clarified. For Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedic literature. Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam. It was written by Vyasadeva, Mahamune Krite, when he was self-realized. Thus, the more we read Srimad Bhagavatam, the more its knowledge becomes clear. Each and every verse is transcendental. And this reminds me of a statement that Srila Prabhupada made that, referring to the devotees, that distributing my books will keep them happy, and reading my books will keep them, meaning keep them in Krishna consciousness. Now, the benefit, of course, the greater benefit comes from reading Srimad Bhagavatam. But there's also benefit just to keeping Srimad Bhagavatam in one's home. And this is stated in the Nectar of Devotion. Quote, in the Skanda Purana, there is this statement, quote, a person who is constantly engaged in reading literature enunciating the cultivation of Vaishnava devotional service is always glorious in human society. And certainly, Lord Krishna becomes pleased with him. A person who very carefully keeps such literature at home and offers respectful obeisances to it becomes free from all sinful reactions and ultimately becomes worshipable by the demigods. So in that last purport from Srimad Bhagavatam of Srila Prabhupada's that I read, he quoted the verse, or referred to the verse, Nigama Kalpataru Galitam Phalam. And I will read it. There are many beautiful glorifications of Srimad Bhagavatam within the Bhagavatam. And I would like to read some of them because they're so beautiful and potent. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam 113. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamukadam ritadrava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi babuka. Translation. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukadev Goswami. Therefore, its fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Yeah. And then another important, beautiful verse is 1343. Krishna Swadama Pagate Dharma Gyanadidi Saha Kalonashtadrisham Esha Puranarko Dunodita. Translation. This Bhagavat Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. And our God brother, His Grace, Yadu Bharadas, made a nice documentary about the press, and he called it Brilliant as the Sun, because yes, Srimad Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. And in his purport, Srila Prabhupada says, and this is very important, Srimad Bhagavatam is the summum bonum of life, Lord Sri Krishna personified. We must therefore accept Srimad Bhagavatam as the direct representation of Lord Krishna. One who can see Srimad Bhagavatam can also see Lord Sri Krishna in person. They are identical. So our whole, you could say, dilemma in the material world is that we are associating with the material energy, and thus we are kept in bondage and forced to suffer in so many ways. And the solution or the remedy is to associate with Krishna. And by associating with Srimad Bhagavatam, we are associating with Krishna. Devi hiye shagunamai mama maya durataya mam eviye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. This material nature consisting of the three modes is very difficult to overcome. But one who surrenders to me, this is Krishna speaking, one who surrenders to Krishna can easily cross over it. And because Srimad Bhagavatam is identical to Lord Krishna, by surrendering to Srimad Bhagavatam as the representation of Krishna, we can become free from Maya and free from all the unnecessary and unwanted miseries of material existence. At the end of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are a series of verses that glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, which I would like to read. And the first in that series is the one that has inspired us in the matter of distributing Srimad Bhagavatam on Bhadra Purnima. So this is from the 12th canto and 13th chapter, and we begin with text 13, which is our guidance, especially for today. For the sake of time, I won't read the Sanskrit, although of course the Sanskrit is beautiful, but I'll just read the translations. Text 13. If on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. Therefore, our motto is back to Goloka. Purport. One should place Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne because it is the king of all literature. During the month of Bhadra, the sun, to which this king of literature is compared, enters the constellation Leo and looks as if raised up on a royal throne. Thus, one may unreservedly worship Srimad Bhagavatam, the supreme divine scripture. Text 14. All other Puranic scriptures shine forth in the assembly of saintly devotees as long as that great ocean of nectar, Srimad Bhagavatam, is not heard. Srimad Bhagavatam, this is text 15, Srimad Bhagavatam is declared to be the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. One who has felt satisfaction from its nectarian mellow will never be attracted to any other literature. And Srimad Bhagavatam also, in the first canto, has a nice verse about swans and crows who have different tastes. And so we should be like swans and swim in the nectarian waters of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then text 16, Nimna ganam yata ganga devanam achuto yata Vaishnavanam yata shambhu puranam purananam idam tata. Translation. Just as the Ganga is the greatest of all rivers, Lord Achyuta, the supreme among deities, and Lord Shambhu, Shiva, the greatest of Vaishnavas, so Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas. In the same way that the city of Kashi is unexcelled among holy places, Srimad Bhagavatam is supreme among all Puranas. And then I'll read text 18 because it's really gives the essence of what Srimad Bhagavatam is. Translation, Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana. It is most dear to the Vaishnavas because it describes the pure and supreme knowledge of the Paramahamsas. This Bhagavatam reveals the means for becoming free from all material work, together with the processes of transcendental knowledge, renunciation, and devotion. Anyone who seriously tries to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, who properly hears and chants it with devotion, becomes completely liberated. So, in the time we have left, I would like to read from this beautiful book by Srila Sanatana Goswami called Sri Krishna Lila Stava, translated by our dear Gopi Purana Das. And in this book, Srila Sanatana Goswami glorifies Srimad Bhagavatam. So text 412, Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha, Sarva Vedaika Satphala, Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya, Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kali Dvanto Ditarditya Sri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varsha Akarshyate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madheka Bandhu Matsangin Madguro Mahadana Manistara Kamadbhagya Madananda Namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Sadhu sadhu tadainim atini chotata kara hana muncha kada chinmam premna hrit kantayos briha. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. So, my dear devotees, it is a most auspicious occasion, and I am so humbled and gratified that I had the opportunity to join you on this, for this wonderful event of glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam and the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially on Bhadra Purnima, which is also known as Vishwarup Mahotsava. It was the day on which Lord Chaitanya's older brother, Vishwarup, took sannyas, and it's also the day on which our dear Srila Prabhupada took sannyas. So this day is beautified and glorified by many wonderful, auspicious, divine events. And I think my time is up, and I know that there are many other wonderful speakers and events planned. So yes, I thank you very deeply for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Shri Bhadra Purnima Ki Jai.
Thank you very much, Giraj Maharaj, for your wonderful and enlightening talk today. to inspire all of us around the world to really spread this holy name as well as the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'd like to thank deeply from my heart.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Stay tuned with us. And also we'll continue with our next program of today, which is definitely all of you know, Gauramani Devidasi. She's based out in Vrindavan, and she has like more than 1 million followers who does such an ecstatic, melodious kirtan, and especially in North India, she's very popular, and many of devotees, the aspiring devotees, got inspirations from her kirtan. So we are going to play some of her melodious kirtan, especially given for this Bhadra Purnima, this particular event.
The intention of performing an yajna, there are a lot of differences between yajna, homa, kratu. Okay, all the words are not similar. They have minute differences. The intention of performing yajna is to please the gods and get their blessings. And how God bless.
All of you a very happy Bhadra Purnima. We will be chanting the holy names of the Lord to bring all auspiciousness to the world, to glorify the most glorious Bhagavat Purana, which answers the questions of all humankind. Please come, join us in this chanting and make your life successful. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna was the wonderful Kirtan, such a melodious voice from Vrindavan Dham. So now, thank you, Gauramani Mataji, for doing such a wonderful Kirtan for this Bhadra Purnima, for this Yajna. And now we'll continue with our next program. So it will be from deepest gratitude to our stalwart leaders, His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, who has really inspired not only us from around the world to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam, that is his life and soul, to dedicate for the mission of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He's always coins us, always better service. And today we are performing by his command. We'd like to welcome His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu to give us some encouragement.
Hare Krishna, Bali Mardan Prabhu, thank you very much. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nashta Prayushu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. This is one of the happiest days of my life, if not the happiest day. In the corner of my eye right now, I can see a yajna going on, and I see names on the screen of fortunate souls all over the world who have received Srimad Bhagavatam. But now it's not just the Bhagavat Purana. It's not just Srimad Bhagavatam, but it's the Srimad Bhagavatam touched by Srila Prabhupada and given to us to take us back to the other side of this material world and all the way to Goloka Vrindavan. He did it intentionally. And he sat in Vrindavan and he meditated. How will I touch everyone in the world? How will I fulfill this impossible order to spread Krishna consciousness all over the West and all over the world by his Guru and by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And he did it. He planted the seeds on every continent, and he brought the Srimad Bhagavatam especially to accomplish that task. Even on the way to America, he was meditating on the verses beginning with Shushrusho Shadadhanasya Vasudeva Kata Ruchi Syanmahat Seveya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. That the only way that one can actually rise above the three modes of material nature is to serve Vaishnavas, to serve the pure devotees. There's no way to come out of the darkness of the material world unless one has some service for Vaishnavas. And by serving the Vaishnavas, by serving the great souls, those who are on the path back to Godhead, then one gains an affinity for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And then, of course, Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantaksto Hibhadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam. And Prabhupada would quote this verse often, saying Punya Shravana Kirtana. Just by hearing, one becomes pious. So people of the world need this good fortune. And Prabhupada knew that this was the touchstone that would set the world on spiritual fire so that people could take advantage of the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, become well-versed so that they could defeat atheism, Prabhupada says in his preface to the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he saw it as the means, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, to re-spiritualize human society. He knew very well that as he said, there was a pinprick in the social body of the world at large, and people can't be happy without this spiritual knowledge. So that's what he did intentionally. He made sure he had the books, and then he brought them to the United States. And Brahmananda and Gargamuni told me the steamship company had reserved for him some storage space, and he kept his Bhagavatams very carefully there until he got established in New York. And then they'd go down to that warehouse and tie up the 3 volumes with string, and then start distributing them all over New York City. And then, of course, Prabhupada never stopped translating and commentating on the Srimad Bhagavatam until his last breath, all the way up to the 10th canto, 13th chapter. And then he left it to his competent disciples to finish the 10th canto, 11th canto, 12th canto. And he left it to us to distribute it all over the world. So this is the way that people become fortunate, and people need good fortune. In the Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami, the sages at Naimisaranya said, Prayanal Parisha Shabdya Kalavasmin Yajana, Manda Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya Hipadrata. In this iron age of Kali, men have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Manda Bhagya means they're really unlucky. And Manda Matayo, they have really bad ideas. They're punishing themselves by staying in the lower modes of material nature. And so the vibration of the Bhagavatam is the only hope for them to come out of these low modes of material nature and to get good fortune. When we take Bhagavatam to people's homes, it's always an interesting prospect, because even pious people, those who have been raised in the culture, sometimes hesitate. Because what does it mean when a full set of Srimad Bhagavatams appears at your door and wants to come in? And where am I going to put it? People say, I don't have any room. And they're thinking, oh, I'm going to have to change my life if this Bhagavatam comes in my house. Many times the devotees, they're so compassionate, the devotees going around door to door and on the phone. Now during the pandemic, everyone's been calling people on the phone and just being friendly with them, and then saying, we have Srimad Bhagavatam. How about if we send it to you? Whatever way the devotees are interjecting themselves into the lives of others with the very purpose of giving Srimad Bhagavatam, it's the good fortune that people are actually waiting for. Srila Prabhupada wrote in his Vrindavani Bhajan, before he came to America, he said people are sitting in their homes looking down the road, wondering, when will Shri Shri Gaura come and rescue me? Well, the answer is when the representatives of Shri Shri Gaura bringing Bhagavatams to far reaches of the earth, going to places that have never been touched before by the Sankirtan movement, and bringing the holy names and Srimad Bhagavatam with them. That's what does it. We've seen many times the Bhagavatam goes in the home, and then they have to clear a shelf, they have to get a shelf, and once it's in there, their lives start to change just by the presence of the Bhagavatam. And what to speak if they start to read it and hear it and associate with devotees who are reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Over and over again, the Bhagavatam says in various ways, Satam prasangam mama virya sambido bhavanti hrit kara rasayana kata taj joshanad ashu apargavartmani shadaratir bhaktir anukramishati. Anukramishati, it's a step-by-step process that will unfold in one's life when one hears the Srimad Bhagavatam, the association of devotees. So one by one, people have to become fortunate. It's a painstaking activity, preaching, distributing books, reaching out to people in the world and making them fortunate by giving the opportunity to have the Srimad Bhagavatam in their home. And again, this is not any Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the one that Srila Prabhupada personally oversaw. And therefore, the design, the pictures, these were all his ecstasies, the way he inspired the artists. What would these sets of books be with all the pictures of the spiritual world? The first time people are seeing this. And in the Bhagavatam itself, in the 5th chapter, the 1st canto, Narada, finding his disciple Vyasadeva morose, and knows what the diagnosis should be, and that is that you haven't explained clearly enough, given a clear vision of Krishna and his pastimes. And Naishkarmyam apyachuta bhava varjitam, nashobate gyam alam niranjaram, kutak punah shashvada bhadram ishvare, in the charpitam karma yarapya karanam. He says, even if you're on the path of spiritual life, which some people are in the world, unless you have a chuta bhava, you have this emotion for the personality of Godhead that can come only from the hearts of the Vaishnavas and from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the person Bhagavat and the book Bhagavat. He said, Nashobate jnanam alam niranjaram. It doesn't look good. It's not very beautiful at all. What to speak of fruit of activities? Kutak punas shashvad, abhadram ishvare. It's fruit of activities which are going on all over the planet now. After we saw the lockdown here, everyone wanted to get out. Where do they go? Back to the bars, back to the restaurants, because they don't know anywhere else to go until they get Srimad Bhagavatam. And then their lives become fortunate. And the Bhagavatam is an incarnation of Krishna. In the age of Kali Yuga, as sages at Naimisaranya said, there are no good qualities. They've dried up. But you can derive all good qualities from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy. All the qualities that Krishna has emanate from the Srimad Bhagavatam, from the sound vibration, because there's no difference between Krishna and the Bhagavatam. Krishne swadamo pakate dharmaganadi bisaha kalo nashcha drishamesha puranarko donodita. Just after Krishna left, the Bhagavatam manifested as the incarnation in the age of Kali, and people have lost their vision due to the dense darkness in the age of Kali will get light from this Purana. So what a day it is when somebody gets a call on the phone during this abysmal time in the world, and some good-hearted devotee who is representing the Parampara and Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya calls up and say, hey, how are you? Are you okay? And a lot of people say that, but they don't have any solution. But the devotees do. They'll say, I've got an idea. Why don't you take the Bhagavatam? And then when people hear that sound, they might take it. They might take it. And they are taking it. And this is a revolution, Prabhupada said. Rameshwar Prabhu told me that Prabhupada on the train when they were going to Rishikesh, he said, Prabhupada said, this is a revolution. People will look back and they will see that this was a time when the world was in a pivotal phase, because the transcendental vibration came into the world and the people were moved by it. There will be a mass movement. That mass movement, Prabhupada said, will take place by the distribution of transcendental literature, by cultural conquest, and by the holy names. There are many different ways to build the foundation in society, but all of them are on the foundation of distributing transcendental books. So this is it's a very big day for our spiritual family all over the world, and that is because we've come together for this Bhadra. Over the last several years, when we introduced Bhadra Purnima, there was some interest. There was a little interest here and there, some flickers, some smoldering. It was looking like it was starting, but not quite. But somehow or other this year, it's taken hold and it's going all over the world. Amazing that during this time of pandemic and mass confusion all over the world, the Bhagavatam is now exerting itself in such a big way, and the devotees are being the instruments for making that happen. So this is very important. The books change society, and Bhagavatam is a huge literature, 18,000 verses of pure transcendental nectar. Sanatana Goswami said every one of them, every one of the syllables in Srimad Bhagavatam is pouring down oceans of nectar. And what it makes of us to distribute this, what we have to become as a worldwide organization to cooperate and to look for higher and higher goals, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, a million, more and more all over the world, to inundate the world with transcendental knowledge and the Srimad Bhagavatam. What do we have to become to facilitate that? We have to grow in our spiritual lives, and we have to grow in capacity. So unless we have these kinds of miracles as is unfolding before our eyes today, that we'll be bored and we'll become interested in gossip and complaining, and management of such a thing becomes very difficult. But when there are miracles like Bhadra Purnima, then there's transcendental energy everywhere, and everything seems possible by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank everyone who's given themselves to developing this to the state that it's in now, and to everyone who's taken a Srimad Bhagavatam or distributed a Srimad Bhagavatam. Good for you. You're getting the highest benediction. There's no question about it. And all those innocent people out there who are receiving them, there's lots of people who had no idea what they were getting and still don't know what they have. It's a huge day in the history of the soul, who's been in the sojourn in this material world for millions and millions of lifetimes, and now has come to this point. So with good fortune, with miracles, and by organizing ourselves so that we can cooperate all over the world, we will please Srila Prabhupada, and that's the ultimate goal in life, is to please the Acharya. Thank you very much, everybody, for carrying on with the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll do bigger next year. I guarantee it. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for your wonderful inspiration. And always it comes from your heart. Just like we know, nectar of instructions say, Dadati pratikinati guhyam akhyati prachati bhunkte bhojayate chaiva sadvidhim priti lakshanam. So it's like the power of giving charitable gifts. And this is the program to celebrate joy and happiness by sharing this Srimad Bhagavatam to one and all. And also we are very fortunate that this program is mixed with dance, kirtan, katha, yajna, and various things. So I am very honored, and we are the BBT as well as Team ISP is really very pleased to welcome one of the talented girl, Anjali. And just let me say a few words about her. Anjali is a student of Rava Academy, Bhubaneswar, disciple of Guru Sri Bharat Charan Giri, and a great artist from Doordarshan. Started to learn Odissi dance in the lineage of Guru Dev Prasad Das from the tender age of 5. The recipient of senior scholarship for young artists offered by Center for Cultural Resources and Training, Central Government of India, and university topper in Bachelor of Philosophy, has won many awards in national and international classical dance festivals. Today, she performs a solo dance on Dasavatar, and we're very happy. She's also in live Zoom, so maybe we can, I believe we can see her. Yeah, I can see her. Thank you very much, Anjali, for being with us also, and also we'll play your Dasavatar dance.
Namaskar, Hare Krishna. A very happy Bhadra Purnima to everyone. I'm Anjali from Singapore, and I'm a disciple of Guru Sri Bharat Charan Giri, student of Rava Academy, Bhubaneswar. I feel immensely blessed to be part of this yajna and to have an opportunity to offer my dance on this day. I'm very thankful to Vaisheshika Prabhu, Radha Vallabh Prabhu, and Mata Hansapriya to have provided me with this grace. I would be offering Dashavatar through Odissi dance, and I look forward to serve more and more in the future. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् Prane जगदीशा हरे
आविर्भव वज्रणक वज्रणक दंष्ट्रकर्मा दयान दंदय रंदय तमोग्रह कृत स्वाहा अभयमभयमात्मनि भूयिष्ठाः ओम क्षौ नमः उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युमृत्युन्नमाम्यहम् ओम नमो भगवते महाघोरवीरनारसिंहाय रौद्राग्निज्वालानारसिंहाय सिंहकेतक बिभ्रतकेतक नरमृगणकदंष्ट्रायुधाय वज्रणकाय करालवदनाय प्रह्लादवरदाय केशवादिदशावतारस्वरूपाय रजभुजाय एकादशरुद्ररूपाय द्वादशभानुकोटितेजोमे नृसिंहरूपाय जरामरणभयदारिद्र्यनाशकराय ओम क्षौं जं 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 रं रं मं मं आं भः ॐ भट्वाः ओम क्षौं नमः भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युमृत्युन्नमाम्यहम् ओम भद्रणकाय विद्महे दीक्षिताय धीमहि 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 ओम श्री ह्रीं क्लीं कृष्णाय गोविंदाय गोपीजनवल्लभाय पराय परमपुरुषाय परमात्मने परकर्म मंत्र यंत्र तंत्र औषध स्वगत्राणि संहर संहर मृत्योर्मोदय मोदय ओम नमो भगवते दीप्ते ज्वालापरीदाय सर्वदीक्षोपनहराय ब्रह्मणे परञ्ज्योतिषे सहस्रारहुपटे ओम नमो भगवते महागर्जनाय गोभोदर्शन विष्टंदाय दारय दुरिदं मनहर पापं दहनः रोगं मर्दय आरोग्यं गुरु गुरु ओम राम राम ह्रीं ह्रीं ह्रूं ह्रूं फट् फट् अनहनद हनः पीडय पीडय सहस्रारहुपटे ओम 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 श्रीं ह्रीं श्रीं कृष्णाय गोविंदाय गोपीजनवल्लभाय वराय परमपुरुषाय परमात्मने परकर्म मंत्र यंत्र तंत्र औषध स्वगत्राणि संहर संहर मृत्योर्मोदय मोदय ओम नमो भगवते महाद् सुदर्शनाय दीप्ते ज्वालापरीताय सर्वदिक्शोमनकराय हुम्पट् ब्रह्मणे परञ्ज्योतिषे सहस्रार हुम्पटे ॐ नमः भगवते महादर्शनाय भो भो दर्शन दर्शन दृष्टं धारय धारय दुरितं हनहन पापं दह दह रोगं मर्दय मर्दय आरोग्यं गुरु गुरु ॐ ॐ राम राम ह्रीं ह्रीं रूं रूं फट् फट् हनहन दह दह पीडय पीडय सहस्रार हुम्पटे ॐ सुदर्शनाय विद्महे महाज्वालाय धीमहि चक्र प्रचोदयात् ॐ सुदर्शनाय विद्महे महाज्वालाय धीमहि चक्र प्रचोदयात् ॐ सुदर्शनाय विद्महे हेतिराजाय धीमहि चक्र प्रचोदयात् ॐ सुदर्शनाय विद्महे हेतिराजाय धीमहि चक्र प्रचोदयात् ॐ सुदर्शनाय विद्महे सहस्रज्वालाय धीमहि चक्र प्रचोदयात् ॐ सुदर्शनाय विद्महे सहस्रज्वालाय धीमहि चक्र प्रचोदयात् ॐ सुदर्शनाय विद्महे षोडशभुजाय धीमहि चक्र प्रचोदयात् ॐ सुदर्शनाय विद्महे षोडशभुजाय धीमहि चक्र प्रचोदयात् सुदर्शन महाज्वालकोटिसूर्यतमप्रभा ज्ञानान्तस्य मे देव विष्टार्मार्गं प्रदर्शयात् सुदर्शन महाज्वालकोटिसूर्यतमप्रभा ज्ञानान्तस्य मे देव विष्टार्मार्गं प्रदर्शयात् सुदर्शनं महावीरं गोविन्दस्य प्रियायुधं पादकसङ्काशं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनं सौदर्शनं महावीरं गोविन्दस्य प्रियायुधं पादकसङ्काशं सर्वशत्रुविनाशनम् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशान्ताय सर्वाभरविनाशाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे नमः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशान्ताय सर्वाभरविनाशाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे नमः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशान्ताय सर्वाभरविनाशाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय महाविष्णवे नमः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशान्ताय सर्वाभरविनाशाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे नमः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वाभयनिवासाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे नमः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वाभयनिवासाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे नमः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वाभयनिवासाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे नमः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वाभयनिवासाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे नमः ॐ वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वाभयनिवासाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे नमः ॐ वासुदेवाय विद्महे वैद्यराजाय धीमहि तन्नो धन्वन्तरि प्रचोदयात् ॐ वासुदेवाय विद्महे वैद्यराजाय धीमहि तन्नो धन्वन्तरि प्रचोदयात् ॐ वासुदेवाय विद्महे वैद्यराजाय धीमहि तन्नो धन्वन्तरि प्रचोदयात् ॐ तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे सुवर्णपक्षाय धीमहि तन्नो गरुड 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 प्रचोदयात्
चलिए हरिनाम संकीर्तन समस्त भक्त
Hare Krishna. Such a wonderful yajna is conducted at Ahobilam, the Narsinga Kshetra. Very nice dance also we saw from Anjali. Wonderful Dasavatar. I also like to thank her. And we'll continue with the Srimad Bhagavatam reading and listening, as well as from our great speaker, Amarendra Prabhu, who has been, I think, most famous in our second generation devotee. So he is like BTech, MS Electrical Engineering, MBA in IT Management. Spiritually, a Brahmin initiated disciple of His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj, the Bhakti Sastri degree from Mayapur Institute. And also right now he's traveling around the world to spread the Srimad Bhagavatam Katha. And recently also visited ISV, and we'd like to hear from Amarendra Prabhu.
A glorious occasion of Bhadra Purnima, I want to thank His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu for spearheading this innovative campaign. Worldwide, there's a grassroots revolution in the organization, bringing in the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam, not just the reading and the hearing and the studying and the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam, but very special focus on the compassionate mood of Srila Prabhupada in gifting, donating, contributing, and sponsoring Srimad Bhagavatam on Bhadra Purnima. We all know Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies this act of donating Srimad Bhagavatam on the occasion of Bhadra Purnima. And anyone who does it, anyone who distributes or sponsors or innovatively, creatively plans the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam on the occasion of Bhadra Purnima guarantees his seat in going back home, back to Godhead on the aircraft of mercy and compassion. In this Dana Yajna performed in the holy abode of Ahobilam in India, I am very happy to be given this service of speaking very briefly on the spiritual significance of this place. As we know, Ahobila Kshetram is synonymous to the Nava Narasimha Kshetram, which means the power potent place which has 9 famous forms of Narasimha Dev. They all have different names, they have different postures, and they have different significant historical stories backing their existence. So let us begin on this very crisp and brief journey on the glorious oral reception on the historical significance of these 9 temples. Ahobila Kshetram in South India is very glorious, and we can see that by the presence of many great spiritual leaders who have visited this place. Sripad Ramanujacharya has visited this place from the Sri Sampradaya and performed years and years of penance here. And therefore we see not just Sripad Ramanujacharya's place of penance, but also his descendants like Vedanta Desika, even the presence of their bhajan sthali or their prominent place of penance here in Ahobila Kshetram. We find the descendants of Sripad Ramanujacharya have played a vital role in preserving the Sri Sampradaya culture by spreading the tenets of this Vaishnava philosophy far and wide in Ahobilam. And therefore, unlike other places, Ahobilam is very conservative and is very fortunate to not have been influenced too much by the mundane materialistic thought process outside. We see nowadays even pilgrimage places in this world are touched by materialism, by hardcore city life, and sometimes even Hollywood and Bollywood songs are being heard and played in these places. But unlike any of those places, Ahobilam is still maintaining its sanctity, even from the material vision. People are very culturally traditional and very conservative in their practice. And the credit must be given to the Sri Sampradaya followers of Sripad Ramanujacharya for preserving the sanctity, materially and spiritually, of this place. This place was certainly under attack by many Muslim invaders and Muslim participants, those who are very interested in spreading the Muslim culture and destroying the Vedic culture, destroying temples and burning spiritual literature, etc. But at that time, it's described at Vijayanagara, the famous king at that time, he protected the Vedic culture, he protected the temples, protected the deities, gave protection to the Hindu priests of the place, and Ahobilam was certainly protected by their mercy. What is the significance of this place? This significant place marks back and dates back to the actual occurrence of the Narasimha pastime. We have read about Narasimha and Prahlad Maharaj. We have heard about the atrocities of Hiranyakashipu in the pages of the Bhagavatam. But dear devotees, this is the place where actually this pastime took place. Many different significant details of this pastime can be seen in this place. The 9 Narasimhas stand for 9 different aspects of the same pastime. Therefore, this place is called Ahobilam or Ahobilam. Aho in Sanskrit means wonder, Bila means a cave, or Bala means strength. So you could understand the etymology of this word as that place where that wondrous, that glorious cave where Narasimha appeared, or that place where Narasimha demonstrated his strength. And the demigod said, "Oh, what a wonder! Oh, what strength! What display of power! What chivalrous, brave mood is the Lord displaying!" So those words of Aho Balam, oh, what great strength, or Aho Bilam, oh, what great cave that the Supreme Lord has appeared in. That is what stands for, that's the meaning of the word Ahobilam or Ahobilam. According to the Sri Sampradaya, this place is one of the 108 Divya Deshas, which means great places of spiritual standing that every devotee must visit before he leaves this world. Divya Desha, transcendental pastime place. Also, if you see, geographically, Ahobilam is found in the eastern Ghat of South India. So the eastern Ghat is almost in the shape of a snake. The head of the snake is Tirupati, the very famous place of Venkateshwara, Balaji, Padmavati, Lakshmi Devi, etc. The tail of the snake stands for Sri Shaila Kshetra, and the middle portion of the snake in the eastern Ghat is Ahobilam. So interesting enough, the head of the snake, which is Tirupati, the tail of the snake, which is Sri Shaila, and the middle portion of the snake, which is Ahobilam, all three are found in the state of Andhra Pradesh in South India. Now let's get going into the story of the Navanarsimhas. It is described that there was a person who wasn't a sannyasi. He was a brahmachari who became a grihastha. But Narasimhadev came in his dream and said, "I want you to take sannyas. Please come here to Ahobilam and meet me. I want to give you sannyas." So following the instruction of Narasimhadev, he came to Ahobilam, and it's believed that Narasimhadev himself initiated this person into the sannyas renounced order of life and gave him the Narasimha mantra to chant and instructed him to live in this place and preach the glories of Narasimhadev to all the villagers in the neighborhood and spread the glories of Narasimhadev. Surely enough, in a spirit of humility and devotion, he did that for over 60 years. And then later the Supreme Lord gave him an instruction that now when you travel, you should take an Utsava Murti with you. Utsava Murti are the smaller deities that are found in the temple. So he was thinking that when I go for preaching, I'm supposed to carry these Utsava Murtis. That's the instruction I've received. But out of the 9 Narasimhas, which Narasimha Utsava Murti should I take? And he sat in meditation and deep absorption in penance. And it's believed one of the 9 Narasimhas, called as the Malola Narasimha, the Malola Narasimha Utsava Murti, walked up to his place of penance and said, "Please accept me." So from that day onwards, he accepted the Malola Narasimha Utsava Vigraha and traveled everywhere with this deity. And from that time around, this has been a culture in the Malola Narasimha temple, which is one of the 9 temples, that whenever the head of that temple goes around for preaching, he takes the Utsava Murti of Malola Narasimha and establishes the deity in whichever village where he's offering Hari Katha. It's been about 45 presidents who have changed in the power of authority in the Malola Narasimha temple, coming from this great soul, and till now the custom is still intact. What is the historical story of Malola Narasimha? It's interesting that Brahma, once in every day of Brahma, when he goes off to sleep, the Vedas are stolen during his sleep. And many times you see the story of Madhu and Kaitaba coming and stealing the Vedas from the Supreme, from Brahmaji, who is the secondary creator, and the Supreme Lord comes to protect the Vedas and destroy the demons. It so happened once again that Brahma was in deep sleep and the demons stole away the Vedas. So Brahma came to Narasimhadev for protection and solution. And Narasimhadev destroyed the demons. And instead of giving the 4 Vedas back to Brahma, he gave only 3 Vedas and kept 1 Veda with himself. Why? He wanted to punish Brahma because Brahma frivolously gave boons to Hiranyakashipu. He gave different boons, as we know in the 7th canto, that I should not be killed inside the house, outside the house, in the air, on land, etc. And Narasimhadev wanted to very lovingly reprimand Brahmaji that you did not even caution Hiranyakashipu, you did not give him any warning, you did not give him any instructions, and you just gave him all these benedictions, and he created havoc with them. Therefore, as punishment, I want to keep one of the Vedas with me. Brahmaji, he beseeched the Lord, but the Lord wouldn't budge. Then Brahmaji went to Lakshmi. We know Lakshmi Devi is the feminine counterpart of Narasimhadev. Ishanan jagatosya venkatapater Vishnu param preyasi tadvakshasthala nityavasarasikam tatkshanti samvardhini Padmalankrita pallava yugam Padmasanastham shriyam Vatsalyadi gunojvalam Bhagavati Vande Jaganmataram. That goddess Lakshmi Devi, who wears a garland of lotus flowers, who has hands like lotus flowers, who holds a lotus flower in her lotus-like hand and sits on an asana of lotus flowers, whose Lord, from his lotus navel, springs out a lotus flower on which Brahma appears. That Lakshmi Devi is the mother of Brahma, and therefore Brahma approached Lakshmi Devi and said, the Supreme Lord is not giving me a Veda back. Can you kindly help me? And Lakshmi Devi, as the mother, she blessed Brahma. She came to this place of Ahobila Kshetram, performed penance to please Narasimhadev. And Narasimhadev, surely enough, being happy by the penance of Lakshmi Devi and getting recommended by Lakshmi Devi, he was very happy to benedict Brahma and give his 4th Veda back, the Atharva Veda back. Because Lakshmi Devi was the one who helped Brahma get the 4th Veda, this deity of Narasimha is called Ma Lola Narasimha for 2 reasons. The word Ma refers to Lakshmi and Lola means affection. So that Narasimha, who out of his affection for Lakshmi agreed to give the 4th Veda back, is called Ma Lola Narasimha. Apart from that, the word Ma also refers to Mata, mother, and Lola means affection. So that Narasimha who showered mercy on Brahma, who approached Lakshmi as a child and Lakshmi to be the mother, that Narasimha is called Mahalola Narasimha. Therefore, we see here at Mahalola Narasimha, Lakshmi Devi is found with Narasimha Dev. This is also the place where Lord Shiva was blessed by Narasimha Dev and given the Mrityunjaya benediction, which means he will win over death. And therefore, one of the names of Lord Shiva is Mrityunjaya. So in this way, Mahalola Narasimha is an important temple in the Nava-Narasimha. Similarly, we have the Sri Ahobilam Narasimha here. We have Varaha Narasimha, which is the 3rd Narasimha. Then we have the Ugra Narasimha or the Jwala Narasimha. This is the place where the anger of Narasimhadev hit its peak. And the actual pastime took place where he appeared from the pillar. Then we have the next Narasimha that is found is the Karanja Narasimha. So Karanja refers to an ebony tree. It's the ebony tree under which Hanuman performed penance to get the mercy of Ram. But however, this being Ahobila Kshetra, Narasimha appeared there and said, I am the same Ram. And Hanuman said, no, but I want to see my Ram. And therefore Narasimha appeared as Sri Ram with bows and arrows. And that ebony tree under which again Narasimha appeared as Ram to Hanuman with bows and arrows is called as Karanja Narasimha. So therefore you see this Narasimha Dev in the mood of Ram holding the bow and arrow. Then we have the next Narasimha called as Pavana Narasimha, and it's believed this is the place where Narasimha Dev married Lakshmi Devi, and therefore Lakshmi Devi is found on the lap of Narasimha Dev. And here the tribes worship Narasimha Dev as if Narasimha Dev is their son-in-law because they consider Lakshmi to be their daughter. Then the next Narsimha found is Bhargava Narsimha. As we know, Bhargava is another name for Parshuram because he comes in the line of Bhrigu Muni. Parshuram desired to see Narasimhadev and have his darshan. So he dug up a Bhargava or Akshaya Tirtha, a Bhargava Tirtha or a Bhargava Kunda, and he performed tapasya there to see the Ugra Narasimha form. And surely enough, Narasimha appeared to Parshuram and gave darshan. So that Narasimha is called as the Bhargava Narasimha. Then we have the Chhatravat Narasimha. Chhatravat Narasimha is that Narasimha. Chhatra means an umbrella and Vata means banyan tree. Chhatravata Narasimha. So that place where Narasimha, he was so angry, and therefore to make him calm and relaxed and peaceful, Haha and Huhu, the two heavenly singers, they appeared there and sang beautiful songs, pacified Narasimhadev, who sat under the shade of a banyan tree, moving to the movements of the song, completely relaxed and pacified. So that is the mood, peaceful, Shanta Narasimha, Chhatravat Narasimha. Then the next Narasimha that we find is the Yogananda Narasimha. Yogananda Narasimha is that Narasimha who taught Prahlad Maharaj different yogic postures. He taught Prahlad Maharaj different yogic mudras so that Prahlad Maharaj can overcome all his problems just by performing yoga for the body and yoga for the soul, that is Bhakti Yoga. So this is also the place where Srinivasa or Balaji came to seek blessings of Narasimhadev before he got married to Padmavati Devi. So in this way, the 9 Narasimhas are found here in Ahobila Kshetram, whether it's the Ugra Narasimha, the Jwala Narasimha, or the Ugra Stambha, the pillar from where he manifested, or whether it's the Chhatravat Narasimha, the Bhargava Narasimha, the Karanja Narasimha, the Yogananda Narasimha, the Ahobila Narasimha, the Malola Narasimha, etc. So all these beautiful forms of Narasimhadev are found here. And for those who are fortunate, they will visit this very beautiful, spiritually advancing consciousness that is found in this tract of land, not just as the piece of land, but even the consciousness of the devotees in the Sri Sampradaya in this tract of land. These temples are managed by the Ahobilam Mutt, so they have a great, they are glorious, and all the credit goes to them for maintaining the sanctity of these places and the constant devotional worship of these deities. I feel very fortunate, if not physically, but sitting here in America to participate in this Yajna and to be embraced affectionately in this Bhadra Purnima Dana Yajna worldwide campaign of distributing Srimad Bhagavatam to everyone, and in this very wonderful sacrifice which is being performed in Ahobilam in India. Thank you so much for including me. I feel very, very humbled. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
उतम आचार्येण उतम समिदन्न आज्य द्रव्यजातम श्रीभूमिनीला नायिका समेतस्य नवनारसिंहाय इदन्नममा Shreem Greem Greem Krishnaya.
Thank you, Amarendra Prabhu, for your wonderful lecture. We'll also watch this yajna at the same time. Such a wonderful
Jwala Paridaya Sarvadikshapanaharaya Bhat Brahmane Paranjodije Sahasraraham Bhat Swaha Bhatva Om Namo Bhagavate Mahadvarjanaya Bobo Dvarjana Dushtandharaya Dharaya Duridam Manahana Pabandahadaha Roham Martaya Arogyam Guru Guru Om Om Ram Ram Rim Rim Rum Rum Phat phat anahana daha daha pijaya pijaya sahasra hum bhat swaha om 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 Shrim Kling Kling Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijanamallavaya Paraya Parampurusaya Paramatmane Parakarma Mantra Yantra Tantra Ujadastra Dastrani Sammara Sammara Nrutyar Modaya Modaya Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasdarjana Deepte Dvala Paridaya Sarvadikshobanahara Humpat Brahmane Paranjyotishe Sahasrara Humpat Swaha Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasdarjanaya Jushtandharaya Dharaya Duridam Manahana Pavandahadaha Soham Martaya Martaya Arogyam Guru Guru Om Om Ram Ram Rim Rim Rom Rom Phat Phat Anahana Daha Daha Bijaya Bijaya Asaraham Bhat Swaha Om Sudarjanaya Vidmahe Mahajvalaya Dhimahi Chakra Pradodaya Swaha Om Sudarjanaya Vidmahe Mahajvalaya Dhimahi Chakra Pradodaya Swaha Om Sudarjanaya
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for watching the Yajna and also continue with our next program. As you know, Amarendra Prabhu started the Prahlad Narsingha like Kumar Achrit Pragyo Dharman Bhagavataniha Dullabham Manusyam Janma Tadapi Adrivam Arthavam. So that's the one. All our kids in ISP also learn Srimad Bhagavatam right from this tender age. So now thanking Amarendra Prabhu will continue with our program with His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Swami Maharaj. So Bhakti Raghav Swami Maharaj has been instrumental in the ISKCON Daivi ministry as well as the Om Sisarabhi campaign. So we'd like to welcome him to give blessings for this Bhadra Purnima.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Welcome to the Bhadra campaign 2020. This year, some very special event is taking place in Ahobilam, whereby devotees who have pledged for sets of Srimad Bhagavatam during this Yajna that is being performed, their names will actually be mentioned and offered. This year, the Bhadra campaign has taken on dimensions unprecedented, and I feel very privileged and honored to be part of this campaign this year. In India, we have what is called IDVM, India ISKCON Daiva Varnashram Ministry. And this year we have pledged to place 108 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam in the villages that we have been visiting in the last 1 or 2 years, especially. It is a wonderful opportunity and a great need as well for people in the villages to receive this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are privileged to be part of this campaign, and I would like to especially take this opportunity to thank the organizers for this campaign. It's a global campaign, especially His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, who has, you could say, masterminded this campaign. And here in India, of course, His Grace Bhima Prabhu has been very instrumental in motivating and inspiring. Just here in India itself, well over 10,000 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam, and possibly double of that has been pledged. We all know how Srila Prabhupada gave so much of the importance. He gave his whole life. Actually, his whole mission was to introduce this knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavatam to a misdirected society. And therefore, all of us have this opportunity and privilege and duty actually to distribute the Srimad Bhagavatam far and wide. Srila Prabhupada wanted that actually in every home there should be a set of Srimad Bhagavatam. Our goal here in India, of course, we have over 700,000 villages. We are hoping that in the years to come, every single one of these villages, and I have a humble request today actually for the leaders here in India, especially those who are temple presidents. It is very much our duty and our responsibility to actually go out in the villages. Villages, as we know, in the last so many years, in the last so many decades, have been in many ways deprived and abandoned. And there's a tremendous need. I have personally, in the last 2 years, visited and spent time in over 108 villages. And I can attest to the fact that people in the villages are very hungry for this knowledge. We would like to actually establish a Bhaktivedanta library. We will have a formal presentation of these books in each of these villages. We have met in this last 2 years leaders of each of these villages. They will be extremely happy to actually receive these wonderful literatures of our founder Acharya. Therefore, we should all be very enthusiastic and very inspired to see the tremendous response, especially this year. I've been receiving phone calls or actually text messages from devotees in different countries who have been hearing about this campaign, pledging that please you distribute one set on my behalf or on behalf of my son in one of these villages. Srimad Bhagavatam has been the main focus of attention throughout our sampradaya. Our acharyas have especially concentrated on giving their various realizations. And Srila Prabhupada has wonderfully summarized these realizations, these commentaries in his own purport of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Once again, I want to take this opportunity to thank all of the organizers and those devotees who have individually contributed to pledge and to give a set of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm sure that this is extremely pleasing to our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, who, as we all know, very much wanted and was very eager to see these transcendental literatures distributed all over the world. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Samasta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
சேத்துல ஒரு வாரமா இருந்துட்டு சேத்துல இந்தா
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
ஒரே ஒரு சொல்லி அதை பண்ணுங்க.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Sai Maharaj, for his wonderful inspiration talk and his also work for the cultivations of cow culture and protections of mother cows, Surabhi, as you know in Bhagavatam, because of the Kunda Mandara Surabhi Anila Satpadam. So that's the way Maharaj has been very focused and thanking and blessing us to distribute the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very well coined with Go to Golaka. So we'd like to also welcome His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Sai Maharaj, his video. So we'd like to see, he has been stationed in Mayapur, and we'd like to hear his inspirational talk for this Bhadra Purnima.
भक्त वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. So we are celebrating Bhadra Purnima, the most auspicious day on this earthly planet. But this is the time Srimad Bhagavatam appeared. We are celebrating just after Bhagavan Krishna left the planet, 30 years after that, on the beginning of Kali Yuga. Srila Sukadev Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. What is Srimad Bhagavatam? It is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. Vedar Tarar Galitang Phalam, the ripe and sweet fruit, juicy fruit of Veda. And Bhagavatam is Sarva Vedanta Saram hi Srimad Bhagavatam Isyate. The essence of Vedanta is Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavat is Bharatartha Vinirnayam. Bhagavata explains the meaning of Mahabharata, that is Bhagavata. Gayatri Bhasyahi Apaso. The commentary of Gayatri is Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, Bhagavatam is non-different, not only the essence of all Vedic literatures, it is non-different from Bhagavan Krishna. Krishna Sudham Apagate Dharma Gyanadhivisah Kolonasta Desamesa Puranar Ko Dhunadita. When Krishna left the planet toward the end of Dwapara Yuga, then he appeared again in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam to show the path for the people of this Kali Yuga. That's why Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. To bring Bhagavatam to our house means we are bringing Krishna to our house. So that important it is. So every house, in the Kali Yuga, according to scripture, there is no Bhagavan. Bhagavan comes in the form of holy name, and Bhagavan has come in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, we request everybody, or all of you are very fortunate, whoever have welcomed Bhagavatam to your house, and whoever also donating Bhagavatam to others. It's a great opportunity. And so by donating Bhagavatam to others, one will be qualified to go back to Godhead. It's very special thing for us. And this year, especially, we are distributing Bhagavatam sets to people that live in jungle, the tribal peoples, thousands, hundreds, thousands of people getting converted to other religions. Now, the tribal people, they're reading Gita, and now they get Bhagavatam. Then in jungle, every house, they'll read Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a great opportunity. And what Bhagavatam gives us, what is specialty of Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam gives us Panchama Purusartha, Krishna Prem. All other Vedic literatures teaches us about the Chari Purusartha, 4 goals of life: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But Bhagavat is very special. Bhagavat teaches us the 5th Purusartha, that is Krishna Prem. All the Vedic literature teaching us about Dharma, but Bhagavata is teaching us about the Param Dharma. Sabai Punsa Paradharma Jata Bhaktir Adhokyaje. That how the supreme duty or dharma of every living entity, each and every human being, is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adhokyaja Lord Sri Krishna, engage in his devotional service. In this way, Bhagavatam is a very, very important literature for us to get perfection in our human life. So we should not make a mistake of not getting Bhagavatam in our house. And if a really, really charitable mentality we have, then we should give in charity the best thing. For the greatest welfare of our society, we should donate Srimad Bhagavatam. So those of you who have donated, those of you who have invited Srimad Bhagavatam, taking advantage of this year's Bhadra Purnima, you are all blessed. You are very fortunate. I pray for all of you, and I hope in this way will fulfill the desire of Srila Prabhupada. That Prabhupada expected that every house there should be one set of Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So on this year, on this tithi, we are having nice yajna. In Mayapur, we are having nice yajna. Ahobilam, we are having nice Narasingha yajna also. So all of you will be getting benefit in your name. We are doing this yajna for the pleasure of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj, for your wonderful inspiration. And also, it would be our privilege and honor to invite His Holiness Japataka Maharaj. Just like we know these various songs, the one of the beautiful one, Gaurav Prema Rasarnave, Se Tarange Javedube, Se Radha Madhava Antarange, Griheva Banete Thake, Hagoranga Voledake. Maharaj has been dedicated his life for the Mayapur Dham. And just like Prabhupada's dear disciple, his dear son, we are very fortunate, we are very humble and honored to have His Holiness Japataka Maharaj in this Bhadra Purnima campaign to bless us, to inspire us, to encourage us to spread this Bhagavatam culture. I'd like to welcome His Holiness Japataka Maharaj to give his blessings words.
Namo Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vajrani Nirishesha Sanyamadi Paschatya Deshatare Makakaroti Vachalam Pangalangate Gurim Yatkivata Vahanmande Sri Guru Ninatadinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Islam Hari Om Tat Sat. On this Bhadra Purnima, I'm very blessed also that I could be able to speak.
So on this auspicious Bhadra Purnima day, and I feel very blessed also that I got this opportunity to speak.
We know that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Lord Krishna.
We know that Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna.
We know that Vyasadeva had written the 4 Vedas, and he had 108 Upanishads.
We know that Vyasadeva wrote the 4 Vedas, the 108 Upanishads,
17
Puranas,
the Vedanta Sutra,
the Vedanta Sutra,
Mahabharat, but he was not feeling satisfied. Although he had written so many scriptures. And then he received instruction from his Gurudev Narad Muni.
Then he received instructions from his Gurudev Narad Muni
that he should write the glories of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
That he should write the glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead.
And his devotional service.
And his devotional service.
And then he wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam.
So then he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam.
That's why it's called the ripened fruit of the Vedas.
That's why it is called the ripened fruit of the Vedas.
A natural commentary of the Vedanta Sutra.
The natural commentary of the Vedanta Sutra.
And any part of the Bhagavatam you read.
And any part of Bhagavatam you read.
It's all for the benefit of the conditioned soul.
Is all for the benefit of the conditioned souls.
And it purifies the reader.
And it purifies the reader.
So on this day, giving a Srimad Bhagavatam out is the chance that no people will read it.
So on this auspicious day, to give out Srimad Bhagavatam is giving a chance to the new people to read it.
Of course, those who give out the Srimad Bhagavatam should also read it.
Also, those who give out the Srimad Bhagavatam should also read it.
It was nice to hear today Narayan Prabhu, he mentioned how in the Bhagavad Purana he had predicted that someone would come in saffron and preach the Bhagavatam in the Malacha languages.
It was nice to hear from Jananivas Prabhu when he quoted Bhavishya Puran, in which it is mentioned that a person will come in saffron clothes and he will preach about this Bhagavatam in the Malacha languages.
So that way we see that Prabhupada went to the West, he wore saffron, and preached in English, which is one of the Malacha languages.
In that way, we can see how Srila Prabhupada, he put on saffron robes, he went to the West, and he preached in the English languages, which is one of the Malacha language.
And here the BBT has translated Bhagavatam into many different languages of the world.
And BBT has translated Srimad Bhagavatam into many languages of the world.
And now the Bhagavatam is available to the people of the world.
So now Srimad Bhagavatam is available to the people of the world.
They can understand the scientific knowledge about the Supreme Godhead.
They can understand the scientific knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
And this is basically a mystery in most places of the world.
This is basically a mystery in most places of the world.
And now, by Srimad Bhagavatam being presented, it's possible for people to have scientific knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Now being Srimad Bhagavatam presented, now the people of the world have an opportunity to have the scientific knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Just like the Lord Chaitanya gave 3 instructions.
Lord Chaitanya gave 3 instructions.
Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shikha.
Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shikha.
Chant the high name, the names of Krishna.
Chant the names of Krishna.
Worship and serve Lord Krishna.
Worship and serve Lord Krishna.
And study Krishna's teachings.
And study Krishna's teachings.
Prabhupada explained that Krishna's teachings are 2.
Srila Prabhupada explained that Krishna's teachings are 2.
And that's the Gita spoken by Krishna.
That is Gita spoken by Krishna.
And Bhagavatam spoken about Krishna.
And Srimad Bhagavatam spoken about Krishna.
So today we want to celebrate how the Bhagavatam is worshipable.
So today we want to celebrate how Srimad Bhagavatam is worshipable.
That's why we put it on a golden throne.
That's why we put Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne.
Worship him.
Worship him.
And we distribute him.
And we distribute him.
So that fallen souls can get the benefit of Krishna's devotion.
So that the fallen souls can get the benefit of Krishna's devotion.
What time?
10.
So I thank all the book distributors.
I thank all of the book distributors.
All those who have received the Bhagavatam, who have sponsored it, who have somehow distributed it.
Also to all those devotees who have received the Bhagavatam, sponsored the Bhagavatam and distributed it.
And the pages of the Bhagavatam itself, it says that this book may revolutionize the sinful life of the people.
In the pages of Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that how this Srimad Bhagavatam will revolutionize the life of the sinful people.
Bhagavatam is the especially relished by the Paramhamsas.
Bhagavatam is the special blessings of the Paramhamsas.
But it is beneficial for everyone.
But it is beneficial for everyone.
So now it's 10 o'clock, so I go further. How much more time do I have?
You can speak, Maharaj, another 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
So, in this way, we also see that Krishna predicted in
this way, we also see how Krishna in Brahma Vaivarta Puran, he predicted
that there will be a 10,000 golden age.
That there would be a golden age of 10,000 years.
And that everyone will become basically a devotee of Lord Hari.
And that everyone will basically become a devotee of Lord Hari.
So that's possible through the Bhagavatam.
So that's possible through the Bhagavatam.
Because the Bhagavatam definitely shows that there's a personality of Godhead, and that
because Srimad Bhagavatam definitely shows that there is a personality of Godhead, and that
he creates, maintains, and destroys this material world.
That he creates, maintains, and destroys this material world.
And that he lives in a spiritual world which is transcendental to this material world.
And that he lives in the spiritual world, which is transcendental to this material world.
By giving the Bhagavatam out, by studying it, one can go to that Parvati world.
So by reading the Bhagavatam, by giving out this Bhagavatam, one can go to this Paramgati world.
The supreme destination.
The supreme destination.
So this campaign Vaisheshika Prabhu has coined it as Go to Goloka.
So this campaign, Vaisheshika Prabhu has coined it as Go to Goloka.
So that's the actual entrance fee to go to Goloka is to understand our eternal relationship with Krishna.
The entrance fee to enter to Goloka is to understand our relationship with Krishna.
And that is available to studying Srimad Bhagavatam.
That is available through the study of Srimad Bhagavatam.
So we study ourselves or we give it and we give it to others to study.
So if we study ourselves and if we give to others to study,
then we get the blessing also.
Then we get the blessings also.
I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
So I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
And we have Amrish Prabhu from the TLVP also contributed, he took 11 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam.
We have Amrish Prabhu from the TOVP. He also contributed and took 11 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam.
So like this, we're seeing that the great interest in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
So like this, we are seeing that there is a great interest in Srimad Bhagavatam.
And that people are gradually reading the Srimad Bhagavatam.
And that people are gradually reading Srimad Bhagavatam.
And this way, the world may quickly change.
This way, the world may quickly change.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. We are so fortunate to have you here online, and we'd like to really thank you from the bottom of our heart, on behalf of the BBD and ISKCON Society here, to really give such inspirational talk so that we can distribute more and spread the holy name. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna. So now we'll move to the Yajna Kunda to see how the Purnayat is going. Can you share the Ahobilam Yajna?
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। Hare Krishna. On this auspicious day, in a very auspicious place, we are conducting a most auspicious ceremony here, Bhadra Dana Yajna. The place is very auspicious. That this is Ahobilam area, known from the ancient times, and the very place of the appearance of Lord Narsingadev. We call Narsingadev Vigna Vinasika Narsinga Bhagavan. So, materially or spiritually, everything that is inauspicious, by remembering Narsingadev, we can destroy all that. You know, in ISKCON, whenever there are troubles from outside, or even having like a health problem, things like that, the Prabhupada has taught us how by regularly reciting Narsinga Pranam mantra, we can mitigate our inner obstacles, and also the obstacles for devotional service we face from outside. So actually, Sri Ram Prabhu, he was proposing this to hold this in North India, Naimisaranya, and then suddenly when he met me, Maharaj, you keep going to Ahobilam. I think better immediately after he met me. So before I speak a few words, ISKCON followers, Balaji Gauranga Prabhu, Chandrakesha Prabhu, Lokeshwari Mataji, they have painstakingly, they have taken some 60 acres of land here, and to develop a farm, so that we can have, as Lord Krishna suggests, as Prabhupada very much wanted, in natural surroundings, fulfilling our simple needs, and saving time for practicing Krishna consciousness. So they have graciously offered 5 acres of land, which is in a prime location, right on the way to go to Ahobilam. So right on the roadside they offered, and they have started here because the production has started in all these 60 acres. Many types of crops are going on, and they have started Sashadyam, Hare Krishna, organic foods, and they have a good service attitude. A lot of people come here, and I have been coming here quite a few times. There is not a proper Vaishnava place to stay and eat. So, as a service to the Dham and the devotees, they have developed a beautiful place here. And just in the previous our SIDC meetings, Revati Ram Prabhu and all our senior Vaishnavas, including Jaipatak Maharaj, they were blessed that yes, we should have a place in this important place in the universe, is Ahobilam, a place for ISKCON, so that from here we can propagate devotional service. And as we are celebrating today on the Bhadra Purnima day, this Bhadra Dana Yajna, which is nothing but to promote the book Bhagavatam, and many religious organizations, many philosophies are there, and Prabhupada at his old age has taken so much trouble. In ISKCON, Prabhupada actually, with all his oral way tours, opening centers, educating his disciples, at his age of 83 years, first he presented a Krishna book as a summary, which is the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. and then Prabhupada embarked on the activity of translating verse to verse Srimad Bhagavatam. So from first canto to 10th canto. When he was going to America, he translated the first canto and then the other 9 cantos. As an acharya traveling, doing all activities, he has completed 10 cantos. You know, we consider that Bhagavatam is a literary incarnation of Krishna, and it is described how the first and second canto are lag, and then the other canto, coming to the 10th canto, it is the beautiful smiling face of the Lord. So just 2 days ago, we also celebrated Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Ayurveda Divas, and there is a sweet pastime how a gentle Brahmin to get his daughter married, he approached for help to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And in that area, there happened to be a Brahma Daitya on a tree, which is troubling all the people in the area. And immediately, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he engaged that Brahmin, you sit under this tree and recite Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we will take care of all your needs. And as he suggested, immediately when the Bhagavatam was completed, and that tree crashed down, and the Brahmadaitya left, making the place again auspicious. And the Brahmin was helped to celebrate his daughter's marriage. So we also many quotes in Bhagavatam about the Mahima of Bhagavatam. Like the Bhagavatam says, Krishna Swadhama Bhagate Jnana Dharmadisa Kalo Nashta Drisamisha Purana Kodinoita. Wherever there is Lord Krishna, there is Dharma, there is Jnana, and there is renunciation. But whenever the devotional service is not there, again people become sense gratifiers, and they become very attached, which is not auspicious for human life. So what the Bhagavatam says, when Krishna came and established Dharma during his time, and as this world always, there is separation. The Lord doesn't stay here all the time. He comes and goes. And then when he was leaving, along with him, the Jnana and Dharma, they left. But the beautiful part of it is all these pastimes of the Lord, they are all described in Bhagavatam. And by reading Bhagavatam regularly, we'll have the same benefit as personally associating with Krishna. That sloka is also there. Like Nashtaprayash Abhadresh Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloka Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So the essence of all Vedic knowledge is to accept Krishna and render devotional service to him. This will, lastly, whenever Prabhu, in Kali Yuga, a lot of differences, a lot of fights, even in the name of Dharma. And Prabhupada used to say, do you accept Bhagavad Gita? And if you accept it, and then all conflicts can be resolved. The unfortunate thing is, people accept and carry Bhagavad Gita, but do we actually implement it in our life? Like Prabhupada, as a living Bhagavata, he went around the world, and then he presented Gita and Bhagavatam to people, and then he showed it to the world how the whole world can stay under one roof, how putting aside all nationalities, racial, geographical differences, how under the common fatherhood of God, the whole world can live peacefully. So this is the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam, it is like encyclopedia of Vedic knowledge. And it is not sentimental that we accept Krishna as the supreme personality of God. You get into the details of the Bhagavatam, we can never complete it in our lifetime or in many lifetimes. It can go on and on. That how people can practice Bhagavad Dharma. So by the initiative of Vaiseshika Prabhu and this book distribution ministry, now all the Prabhupada has inaugurated our Christmas marathon or December marathon, and this is a wonderful initiative by the Ministry of Book Distribution that this Bhagavatam should be promoted, and it's a great beginning here in a holy place on a holy day, Bhadra Purnima, and with this wonderful experts giving us the blessings with this mood. Not only this year, but all our life, we should be distributing this literature of Bhagavad Dharma as wonderfully begun by Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimandasya Gnanajana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyadya Deshtane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much for this opportunity given to say a few words on Srimad Bhagavatam. Just now we finished the beautiful yajna performed by great Brahmins of Ahobilam temple. We can see the Mahant here. So nicely they chanted the mantras. Wonderful it was. It created such a nice, wonderful vibration in the mode of goodness, or we can say pure goodness. We thank them. And also I would like to thank all the Maharajas and Prabhus. All this time they spoke so nicely on Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, we never heard. We're going to hear it actually. I just got the information from Sri Ram Prabhu. And also I thank our Vaisheshika Prabhu, Bhima Prabhu, and Sri Ram Prabhu, and other team of devotees. So nicely they have promoted Srimad Bhagavatam around the world, especially this function, Bhadra Purnima. Everywhere from last, I think, 4 years. 4 years we have started. Now thousands of sets are moving around the world. Such a beautiful program, very, very innovative, so nicely distributing. And the Bhagavatam says so. It distributed Bhagavatam to everybody. Why? The whole world is suffering. Whole world is suffering. Why? Because of anarthas. As long as anarthas are there, we suffer a lot. We suffer, we make others suffer also. Anartha upashamam sakshat. Bhakti yoga adukshaje. Lokasya ajhanato pumsaha. Chakre satvata sammitam. Anartha upashamam sakshat. The world is full of anarthas. Actually, these anarthas are superfluous to us. It's got nothing to do with us, to the jiva. But because of the anarthas, we suffer a lot. But that can be mitigated directly. Sakshat, directly. How? Bhakti yoga, adukshaje, to the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, developing bhakti yoga. Lokasya ajhanato. But the world doesn't know this. The simple formula, the people don't know. How they can become very happy and cheerful just by bhakti yoga. Lokasya ajhanato, vidvams. Because people don't know about this, vidvams. Vyasa Maharishi scripted. What is scripted? Chakre, he composed. Chakre.
Satvata, about the Supreme Lord. Samhitam, Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam. Yasyam vai shruyamanaya. The moment you hear this Bhagavatam very seriously, intensely, what happens? What is this Bhagavatam? Yasyam vai shruyamanayam. And you keep on hearing, it's about Krishna, Paramapurusha. It's all about Lord Krishna, Paramapurusha, 10th canto. It explains in detail about his activities and his mercy, his blessings, everything. Krishna, Paramapurusha. When you hear about him, Shruyamanayam, hearing regularly, what happens? Bhakti utpadhyate. Bhakti develops in the heart. Pumsaha, that jiva who hears, that jiva who studies Bhagavatam, Pumsaha. What happens? Shoka, moha, bhaya, apaha. Shoka, lamentation is gone. Moha, illusion is gone. Bhaya, fear is gone. Apaya, everything gets extinguished by Srimad Bhagavatam. And the conclusion of Bhagavatam, yes, all cannot study Bhagavatam. There are many literates out there. Conclusion is Nama Sankirtana Yasya. Sarva Pava Pranashanam. Pranamo Dukkha Shamanas. Tam Namami Hari Param. Nama Sankirtana Yasya. Simply chant Hari's name. Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Nama Sankirtana Yasya. Sarva Papa Pranashanam. Everything, all the sins are eradicated. Tam Namami Hari Param. Who is that? Hari. Supreme Lord Hari, Krishna, offer obeisances to him. The present problems will go away. Again, Sukadeva Goswami says to Parikshit Maharaj, you should understand this. Oh, Parikshit, you got to take this thing very seriously. What is that? Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnu. Sankirtana about Lord Vishnu. Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnu. Jagat Mangalam. Amahasam. Is good, auspicious for the entire creation, universe. Jagat Mangalam Ammasam. All the sins are removed. Mahatam api Kauraveya. You should understand the greatness of Bhagavatam. This Sankirtana. You should understand about this one. Because you're a king. If you understand this, others will follow very carefully. You know, this is an instruction to Parikshit Maharaj, but in 7 days he's going to leave his body. But it's for all the leaders of the world. Sankirtana. Glorify the Lord. You know, glorify the Lord. That's very, very important. Mahatam api Kauraveya. Vaidaikantika, Nishkatam, the best atonement process is Nama Sankirtana. This is the conclusion of Bhagavatam is chant the Lord's name, glorify the Lord. And also Bhagavatam is compared to 5 things. One is lamp. Lamp, the moment you light the lamp, darkness is gone, ignorance is gone. Again, Bhagavatam is compared to sun. The moment the sun comes, it's been said, goose, spirits, thieves, thugs will run away. All the anarthas are gone. Everything gets purified by sun. Again, Bhagavatam is compared to Mohini Murti, Mohini Avatara. Why is that? Because Mohini Murti, he came. He helped the pious, the Devatas. And the demons, he punished them. They got baffled. Similarly, Bhagavatam, it can help us or it can baffle us. And again, the Bhagavatam is compared to a nice, beautiful fruit, tasty fruit. Nigamagalita param. It's beautiful fruit. Sukumukad amruta dhavyam. Pivata bhavatam rasamalayam. Ohu rahu rasika bhuvi bhavakaha. Such a beautiful fruit that's come from Sukadeva Maharaj. Very tasty. So please enjoy this Bhagavatam. Study this Bhagavatam. Hear this Bhagavatam. It's good for the conditioned souls and liberated soul. And it's compared to desire tree. Whatever the wish we have in the heart, manifest. You know, so we should be very careful with the wishes, whether spiritual or material. That is Bhagavatam. So today, Bhadra Purnima, such a wonderful day in Ahobilam, Lord Narasimhadev Kshetra, you know, conducted by the pujaris of the temple so nicely, so wonderfully. And also I thank Balaji Gauranga Prabhu and Chanakeshwar Prabhu and his good wife Lokeshwar Mataji and the family and everybody to host such a nice, wonderful program here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. We just heard from Revati Raman Prabhu, the Tirupati Temple President, local JVC, as well as we heard from Sukadev Swami Prabhu also, Maharaj. So now we will just play a quick video from Kishori Mataji. She's been grown up in Ahmedabad temple, daughter of Yasomadanandan Prabhu and Radha Kund Mataji. So like to play wonderful kirtan.
Leicester, UK. So very grateful to be included today in this Bhadra Dana Yajna project. I feel highly unqualified because of many, many reasons, but foremost among them that I actually don't get a chance to read the Bhagavatam every day. So I feel extremely unqualified to speak anything. But by the unlimited mercy of Srila Prabhupada, my parents, Jashamati Nandan Prabhu, Radhakund Mataji, we've at least got a taste to listen to Srila Prabhupada's lectures every day. And that has been transformational. That is what has changed my life, changed the life of our family. We have 4 children, so life is hectic, to say the least, at the best of times. But I grew up with 8 children, so there's no excuse. My mother had 8, well, my parents, but she never found the excuse. She never had to say that I don't have time to listen to Harikatha or listen to the lectures on Srimad Bhagavatam. And that has been truly inspirational and truly encouraging in my own life as I become a mother and adult, that actually there's no excuse. I don't mean that in a negative way anymore. It's meant to be very encouraging, because actually once you feel the benefit of having the positive energy, the incredible transformational power of the Srimad Bhagavatam in your life, once you experience that, you will do anything to have that vibration around you. And I can speak from experience, at least on that part, that although from the get-go, from that moment my eyes open till I crash in the evening, the times that I'm listening to lectures or trying to immerse myself like that, those days are truly satisfying and peaceful and joyous in a most deep sense of that word. And I can only relate to this as I grow up, as I mature into family life, because up until now you think everything is fine. Life has its way of, when you're young and restless, that we don't need, who needs to read the Srimad Bhagavatam? You think it's old, it's ancient, it's history. Why do we need to listen to stuff that's already happened? I'd rather do more innovative things and exciting things, possibly thinking that japa and kirtan and more exciting outreach programs might be better for us. But without Shravan, without listening to Harikatha, about Sri Krishna, about the pastimes, I don't think it's really possible to uphold any kind of deep sadhana in our life. And actually, this is not just I don't think, this is, it's been given, the process has been given to us by our acharyas, right? So obviously Rupa Goswami describes the five angas of bhakti, and one of them is the most prominent one, actually, probably after Hari Kirtan, is Bhagavad Shravan, right? So if you can't read, my point was, if you can't read on a daily basis, at least we can hear. At least we can hear. So on this time of Bhadra Dana, that we're trying to encourage everyone to either buy a Srimad Bhagavatam set, which would be most ideal if you can read. That would be absolutely fantastic for you. It would be great for us and the person giving it to you, but most of all, it would be transformational for you. And I can guarantee you that, because without that in my life, it is quite bleak. The monotony of our material lives, we don't need to even tell each other that. We know it. We're feeling the heaviness. I love that the Supreme Person has his way of making us realize that, right? If we just take a moment to think about our lives, we can recognize something is missing. Something is missing. in a very big, deep sense, no matter how much wealth you have or beauty or name or fame or something is missing, and that is Sri Krishna. And until we feed that every day, until we feed our consciousness and lift it out of this material energy, every day we feel heavy. And just like we eat every day, we must listen. And I have so many friends, dear friends, devotees who resonate the same idea with me. And when we get together, we're like, what did you read? You know, and the days, even they share, the days that we don't read, the days that we don't hear, it's like we're walking.
Krishna, I would like to thank you, Shori Mataji, for this wonderful encouragement. And now we will move on with Ahobilam. Our yajna is coming to a kind of an end of Purnahuti, along with Vaishnavangri Prabhu is also going to present. And then subsequently we'll have Bhima Prabhu who has joined also after their Purnahuti. Then Bhima Prabhu is going to speak. So back to Ahobilam now.
Swamiji is telling, you can time you can pray the core of your hearts, whatever spiritual desires you have. So this is a very auspicious time. Request all of you to pray for your spiritual upliftment and distribution of love. Swamiji is also requesting all of you to pray from the core of heart to get out of this COVID-19 crisis.
ॐ ज्योतिक्षमधिरजयते सप्ताहं प्रचरन्ते सप्तवैशीर्षञ्जा प्राणाः प्राणादीक्षा प्राणैरेव प्राणादीक्षामवरुन्धे पूर्णाहुतिमुत्तमाञ्जुहोति सर्वं वै पूर्णाहुतिः सर्वमेवाप्नोति अतो रियं वै पूर्णाहुतिः अस्यामेव प्रतिष्ठति स्वाहा इदं विष्णुर्विचक्रमे त्रेतानि तते पदं समूढवस्य पाकुं सुरे स्वाहा सप्तदे यज्ञे समिदः सप्त जिह्वा सप्त ऋषयः सप्तधाम प्रियाणि सप्तहोत्रा सप्तधात्वा यजन्ते नीरावृणस्वाघृतेन स्वाहा नारसिंहाय नमस्तेजस्तेजसे आविराविर्भव वज्रणकदंश्रकर्माथयां रन्दय तमोकृतकृत स्वाहा अभयमभयमात्मनि भूयिष्ठाः ॐ श्रौं नमः उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युमृत्युं नमाम्यहं स्वाहा महे दीक्षदंष्ट्राय धीमहि तन्नो नारसिंहः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा श्रीं कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय गोपीजनवल्लभाय पराय परमपुरुषाय परमात्मने परकर्म मन्त्र यन्त्र तन्त्र औषधहस्त्र शस्त्राणि संवर संवर मृत्योर्मोजय मोजय ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय दीप्ते ज्वालापरीदाय सर्वदिक्षोपणहराय मणे परञ्ज्योतिजय सहस्रारहुं वत् स्वाहा ॐ महाज्वालाय धीमहि तन्नश्चक्र प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय तन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वाभयनिवासनाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे स्वाहा महे वैद्यराजाय धीमहि तन्नो धन्वन्तरि प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा महे सुवर्णभक्षाय धीमहि तन्नो पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते स्वाहा शान्ति शान्तिः यस्य स्मृत्या जनामूर्त्य तपोयज्ञक्रियादिषु न्यूनं सम्पूर्णतां यात् सत्यो वन्देदमच्युतम् इति विज्ञातपो योनिरयोनिर्विष्णुरेडितः वाक्यज्ञेनार्चितो देवः प्रियतां मे जनार्दनः श्रीजनार्दन प्रियताम् वेदाक्षराणि यावन्ति पठितानि द्विजातिभिः तावन्ति हरिनामानि कीर्तितानि न संश्रयः वेदमेव जपेर्नित्यं यथा कालमतन्त्रितः न यस्याहुः परं धर्म उपधर्मोऽन्यमुच्यते प्रायश्चित्तान्यशेषाणि तपः कर्मात्मकानि वै यानि तेषामशेषाणां कृष्णानुस्मरणं परम् स्वरमात्राविहीनं तु पदाक्षरविवर्जितं न्यूनातिरिक्तं यत्किञ्चिदाभिर्घेर्भिरुदीरयेत् आभिर्घेर्भिर्यदतो नभो नमाप्यायय हरिवो वर्धमानः यदा स्तोतृभ्यो महि गोत्र ऋजादिभूयिष्ठवाचो अददेश्याम ब्रह्म प्रवाजिष्मदन्नो महासीत ओम शांति 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 అందరూ వేసేసి ప్రదక్షిణ చేస్తారు ప్రదక్షిణ చేసి అక్కడ సాష్టాంగం श्रीमान् वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् नामुत्तरं बाहं भवहन्त्याश्च दक्षिणं कामादिति वदन्ति या कश्चिदद्भुत केसरी दीनामुत्तरं बाहुं भवहन्त्याश्च दक्षिणं कामादिति वदन्ति या कश्चिदद्भुत केसरी तपनेन्त्वग्निनयनः तापानपचिनोतु नः तापनीय रहस्यानां तारकामादिका हरिः आगण्डमादिपुरुषं कण्डीरवमुपरि कुण्ठिताराधिं वेगोपकण्ठजङ्गात् विमुक्तवैकुण्ठपकुमतिमुपाते बन्धुरमकिंसन्तोः बन्धुरपर्यङ्कबन्धरमणीयं विषमविलोचनमीडे वेगवतीर्विलकेन नरसिंह स्वस्थानेषु मरुद्गणान् नियमयन् स्वाधीन सर्वेन्द्रियः पर्यङ्कस्थिरधारण प्रकटित प्रत्यन्मुखावस्थितिः राजेन प्रणिपेदुषां प्रभुरुजौ योगन्निजं शिक्षयन् कामानादनुता अचेत जगतां कामादिका केसरी निगस्वरुणगस्वरुक्षत हिरण्यवक्षस्थली निरर्गल विनिर्गल तिथिर सिंधु संध्यायिरः अमन्तु मदनाजिका मनुजपञ्चवक्त्रस्यम अहं प्रकटितामिक प्रकटिता अवाबाहवः शटापटलभीषणे दर्पदाट्ट अजोत्पटे पुरस्कृति परिस्फुटत् प्रकुटिके विवक्त्रे कृते कृपाकपटके दरिन्तनुजटिं पदत्तस्तन सरोजदृजा दृजा यदि विजज्यते व्यज्यते वैरक्षति रक्षकै किमन्यैः वैचा रक्षति रक्षकै किमन्यैः इति निश्चितति श्रया विनित्यम् हरेर्भयमृतशैलवादिनं त्वाम् इत्थं सुत काच्चभिरेशपद्यैः श्रीवेङ्कटेशरचितैर्धृतजेन्द्रवञ्चः दुर्दान्तकोरिदुरिदद्विरदेन्द्रवेदि सामाजिका नरहरिर्विधनोतु कामान् प्रतिपडश्रेण भीषणः परगुणस्तमभूषण जनिभयस्थानकारण जगदवस्थानकारण निखिल दुष्कर्म दर्शन निगमदर्म दर्शन जय जय श्री सुदर्शन जय जय श्री सुदर्शन.
Hare Krishna, we are just seeing the beautiful Purnahuti for Lord Nrsingadev. We are very pleased that the offering of our results and offering of all the devotees who sponsored the Bhadra Dana Yajna was also performed. It's a great place, the pilgrimage place Ahobilam. So I'd like to request next to Bhima Prabhu, who is the BBT trustee and based out in ISKCON, Mumbai. So I'd like to see, I believe he's on the call, so. Okay. Yes, Bhima Prabhu, so please connect yourself and say a few encouraging words for this Bhadra Dana Yajna.
Hare Krishna. So all I can say is Mahamangalam, very auspicious. And I hope that all the devotees watching this yajna on Bhadra Purnima could appreciate the wonderful mood that has been generated by the auspicious sacrifice, fire sacrifice, by the wonderful words of enlightenment that we received from the various devotees. I personally enjoyed it. It seemed like the 7:30 to 10:30 just zipped by. And we have devotees from all over the world that are watching this program. We thank you all for tuning in and participating in this Bhadra Purnima Srimad Bhagavatam set distribution. It started off in a humble way with an idea that it came from the devotees, especially Vaisheshika Prabhu, and it's just spreading like anything, snowballing. People are becoming more and more enthusiastic every year to distribute the Srimad Bhagavatam. And rightly so, because it's the weapon that is going to actually drive back the effects of Kali Yuga. The sages at Naimisaranya planned to have a sacrifice that would last for 1,000 years, but they really couldn't get the sacrifice going. And the real sacrifice is now moving. That is the Sankirtan Yajna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is worshipped by the Sankirtan Yajna. And this sale and distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is the method of performing yajna in this age of Kali Yuga. We can stave off the effects of Kali Yuga in our own lives and in the lives of everyone, every living entity on this planet, by this distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam, by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, by chanting Srimad Bhagavatam. It's so auspicious. Everyone can become happy. That was Srila Prabhupada's desire. He went to the West. He left Vrindavan, although he was comfortably situated in Radha Damodar Mandir He had very low rent. It was only 5 rupees a month. He had 2 rooms in Radha Damodar. And also part of that 5 rupees a month rent was that he got a plate of Mahaprasad from Shri Shri Radha Damodar every day. So he was perfectly situated, looking over the samadhi of Rupa Goswami. But he left that wonderful situation. Why? To come to America. Why did he take so much trouble? Because he simply wanted everyone to become happy. He wanted the whole world to become happy. And the way for that happiness, he had with him in the trunks, on the ship, the Jaladuta, were the copies of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the process to become happy. It's the process to become free from this troublesome cycle of birth and death. So we request everyone to take advantage of the Srimad Bhagavatam, hear it, apply it in your life, give it to others. You'll become happy. You'll make other people happy too. So we thank everyone for participating in today's program and in this set distribution. We invite everyone to, if you've made a pledge, you can complete your pledge after this all the way up to the end of the year. And in this way, we can offer something at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Here, Srila Prabhupada, this we did for you. He's done so much for us. He took so much trouble to come to the Western world and go back to India and spread Krishna consciousness. So this is, of course, it's nothing compared to what he did, but it's something we can offer at his lotus feet, some little service. And in this way, we try to make our lives perfect. So again, I thank everyone for participating in this wonderful Sankirtan Yajna. And like Vaisheshika Prabhu said, we'll do bigger next year. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Bhima Prabhu, for your encouraging words and also always inspiring the BBD and the book distributors and the team around the globe. So I am taking it back to Ahobilam again for the Purnahati and Sri Ram Prabhu. Are you ready for, can you hear us? Friends, our broadcaster confirm is Sri Ram Prabhu. Is that to hear me? And okay.
अस्सिडाद्बाहभ्याम् ओष्णागस्ताभ्याम् सरस्वद्धेवैषध्येन वीर्यायान्नाध्यायाभिषिञ्चामि देवः सत्पादविदप्रसवे अस्सिडाद्बाहभ्याम् ओष्णागस्ताभ्याम् इन्द्रस्येन्द्रियेण श्रिययदधेबलायाभिषिञ्चामि देवः सत्पादविदप्रसवे अस्सिडाद्बाहभ्याम् ओष्णागस्ताभ्यागम् सरस्वद्देवाच यन्त्रेणाग्ने स्वा साम्राज्येनाभिषिञ्चामीन्द्रसत्त्व साम्राज्येनाभिषिञ्चामि बृहस्पते स्व साम्राज्येनाभिषिञ्चामि सवाजिनम् राजानवर्णमग्निमन्वारभामहे आदित्यान्विट्टकं सूर्यं ब्रह्माणं च बृहस्पतिं भूर्भुवस्सुभ भूर्भुवस्सुभ भूर्भुवस्सुवः।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we thank everyone for being here from morning today. So now we have a conclusion and vote of thanks ceremony. And also we have facilitation to the local archakas and offer Srimad Bhagavatam to them in the local language. Hare Krishna. So we request all the Swamijis, please sit there. Swamiji. So these are the main priests of Ahobilam Mata, head pujaris. So as a honor to Srimad Bhagavatam, we are giving to the Mata. We request His Grace Revati Raman Prabhu to facilitate them. We have dhotis, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Please give. First put the dhotis. Put it on the. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Kirtan can go on, bro. Slide Kirtan. Kirtan can go on. I would request Sukadev Maharaj to give Bhagavatam set. Thank you, Prabhus. Thank you, Swami. We'll have a short vote of thanks. We request all of you to sit for 2 minutes. Now this. Thank you, Prabhus. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for all the Vaishnavas and the devotees coming here. There are a lot of online devotees watching this. It's been a great program for last few months here. We would especially like to thank His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu. He's been leading the campaign for like almost 4 years now, and Prabhu's determination and all the GBCs pledged last year in the GBC meeting at tent of Revati Raman Prabhu and Radha Govinda. So we pledged for 10,000, and it's Krishna's miracle, or Radha Govinda's miracle. So we have doubled the pledge. So we are almost 20,000 plus sets has been pledged for this year. So pandemic, Srimad Bhagavatam distribution ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. And also we like to thank especially His Grace Bhima Prabhu. He's been motivating and is behind the whole thing in India. He's always on the call and encouraging devotees to participate this campaign. We have so many leaders, so many Maharajas, which actually everyone came and helped this whole campaign. Due to short of time, we'll read out few names, and so that we can remember them. Especially thank Giriraj Swami Maharaj. As soon as Gopal Krishna Maharaj was kind enough to join the call, there was a situation that how can we do even 10,000? When Maharaj joined, the next day it was doubled. It was 5,000 from New Delhi. So it was a great, actually Maharaj gave a big push to this campaign, which actually started. We also thank His Holiness Jai Pratap Swami Maharaj. He gave a special talk for more than 45 minutes and the whole south became double. We like to thank Indradhaman Maharaj for a nice stories and whatever Maharaj. We like to thank Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Devamrit Swami Maharaj. I'll also thank His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Maharaj, who actually got this village book distribution got into this. We're almost, Maharaj pledged 108 sets. Some of them are already done. And there are pledges coming from all over the world to distribute in sites in villages. It's a great area we are finding out to distributing books in villages. We'll also like to thank Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj. Special thanks to Sukadev Maharaj, who's kind enough to host the entire whole thing. I met Maharaj in Janmashtami day. I said, Maharaj, we want to do, but we don't know the traveling part to Naimisharanya. Maharaj said, let's do it here. He was very fast and we came a couple of times here and the whole hosting team, all glories to them. Especially thanks to Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj. He is doing tribals. Maharaj did 108 sets during this time and he gave few talks. We thank Maharaj for that. Suhas Prabhu, Vijay Prabhu, special thanks to Revati Raman Prabhu. He came all the way. We were thanking small event, but when we heard Prabhu is coming, it became big. So wherever Revati Raman Prabhu is there, it's big. So thank you, Revati Raman Prabhu, for even coming this COVID crisis. He came with his good team. Vaishnav Angri Prabhu for actually he's been behind us. Unfortunately, there was a lack of time. We could not get him on the line today, but we really thank him for even he is the one who translated entire Srimad Bhagavatam to Telugu and also to Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's been tirelessly working in translation. We especially thank Vaishnav Angri Prabhu and seek forgiveness for not getting time today. And Kishori Mataji from UK. We thank Mataji and Amarendra Prabhu for glorious katha about Ahobilam. It was very energetic katha today. And Gauramani Mataji. We also thank all the team. There's a big crew work from last few weeks tirelessly. There's a BBT marketing and communications team and Bhadra global team. And not that, we thank all the Sankirtan leaders who made this happen. Without their contribution, we do not have this ceremony. Today, the global score is 20,000 plus, and India is doing 17,000 sets. Haribol. Especially thank all the temple presidents, managers, Sankirtan leaders, and whoever participated in this whole campaign to please Srila Prabhupada. And the whole movement was, everybody forgot there was a COVID going on. It's like Bhadra fever going on. So most of them devotees were like completely into it. Now I'm getting the results saying that we were doubling our scores. I haven't got the latest score now, but most of them said we are doubling their scores. So we thank all of them who actually made this event very successful. There are few names we like to say the names because they never slept from last few weeks now. Especially Sham Mohini Mataji, she's from Canada, but she's in all the time zones coordinating the whole thing. Anukul Shiv Prabhu was doing this, all the brochures and everything. He's been pioneer and technical. Malini Mataji and Sri Krishna Purushottam, they were Sankirtan leaders. And Vaikund Naik Prabhu from India. And we have Prasanna Prabhu from broadcasting team. Balimardan Prabhu, the MC today, he was very nice. And Divya Nam Prabhu from UK, who was distributing sets in all over Europe. And last, I would like to specially thank Chandrakeshav Prabhu and Mataji. They were, I don't know how many days they slept from last couple of days. This is like, there was nothing here. It's all made up. can see how the flowers, how the decoration. It's all Mataji's, Lokeshwari Mataji's effort. And it's the brain behind all this thing is Balaji Gauranga Prabhu. We were not knowing where to do this yajna. So we were like confused, and there was no broadband here to do a live. We got a special lease line all the way from, lease line from last, I don't know, 5 days somebody worked. We got up the link yesterday. So it is something miracle here in a forest, right? We are in the Ahobilam forest. We got a BSL lease line of 100 Mbps to get this event going. Something miracle. So all the devotees in Ahobilam, so many volunteers. Um, like last 3 days, I think everybody did so much service. We thank everyone. It's a great event. And I think Srila Prabhupada must be pleased with all the Vaishnavas coming together and distributing his books. Prabhupada will be most happy because we all cooperated. Vaishash Prabhu says, book distribution brings all of us together, right? I think that shows here, we're a global team here. All of us came and did very small, little by little, but today we could achieve much. So it's a good start for Bhadra campaign. And I think next year we'll do much more with all the Vaishnavas and devotees. Mercy. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So, Sri Ram Prabhu mentioned about Ramananda Sakha broadcasting team. And
we like to especially thank from Leela Paran Prabhu, our PR. He's been working very hard to get SVBC everybody. SVBC Madhu Garu, chala thanks Andy. Chala vachindaniki. And also we like to thank all the electronic media, TV9 and media, ETV especially. So who came and broadcast this event. There will be a couple of events will be broadcasted in the TV. And all the photographers also here. So it's been amazing. And we like to thank all the Brahmacharis here, who's been doing nice kirtan from morning, all the Vaishnavas, so that this is something called Prabhupada's synergy. All of come together and add our energies, it will become synergy. That's how it's shown as a miracle. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhadra Campaign 2020 ki, Gandhra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Hare Krishna.
so Sri Ram Prabhu just wanted to add Ramananda Sakha Prabhu and his team, Prameya Balaram, those who have been in the broadcasting team also did a wonderful job tirelessly. Thank you. So next program, maybe would you like to share the nursing prayer, Prabhu? Kunjari's nursing prayer and play the nursing prayer also.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Anakalai, ito na sima, parato na sima, ito yami, ito na sima, bahir na sima, idayil na sima, nasimma madim saranam prapati, kavakara kamalavare nakam buddha singam, dalitahiyan na kashipu, tanubringam, keshavati, ta narahati rupa, jaya jagati shahare, jaya jagati shahare, tavakara kamala varenakam buddha singam, dalitahiyan na kashipu, tanubringam, keshavati, ta narahati rupa, jaya jagati shahare, jaya jagati shahare, jaya Narsimhadi, jaya Narsimhadi, jaya Narsimhadi, jaya Narsimhadi, jaya Prahlad Mala, jaya Prahlad Mala, jaya Prahlad Mala, jaya Prahlad Mala, jaya Bhakta Prahlad, jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad, jaya Bhakta Prahlad. Nisbate ki Prahlad Maharaj की, Bhakta Prahlad की, all worlds to assemble devotees, all worlds to assemble devotees, all worlds to Sri Guru in Gauranga. Yes, sir, Prabhupada.
Thank you very much, Kunjari. She is one of our kid, daughter of Haldar Prabhu and Kumari Leela Mataji. So nice to hear. She distributes Bhagavatam also. An example for all the kids. Shamani Mataji, any other things to announce before we end?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Just to conclude the ceremony today, we're going to have a recap of the scores of the campaign. And I'm going to request Malini Devidasi to please come up and tell us what happened all over the world in terms of the final scores. Malini, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we can hear you. Go ahead, Malini.
Mataji, are the slides up?
Yes, they are now. Please go ahead.
Yes. So these are the final results of our campaign for Bhadra this year, 2020. And we are going through each and every continent. First is Africa that we see here. And the score from Africa is 130 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. Next slide, please. This is Australia. The devotees in Australia did 305 Srimad Bhagavatam sets in total. Next slide, please. This is total of 650. This is Europe. North America did total of 2,941 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. Next. And India did 17,118 Srimad Bhagavatam sets in total. And the grand total His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu set a goal of 10,000 Srimad Bhagavatam sets, but together as one world team, we smashed the goal. And not only smash, we doubled the goal by distributing 21,268 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. This is a great achievement, and we thank all the Sankirtan devotees all over the world for contributing to this 21,000 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. And thank you so much for giving this opportunity to announce the results. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Malini Mataji. So it's wonderful to share the advanced news also, what Sri Ram Prabhu shared. Shamani Mataji, do you have any other things to announce?
No, we're good. Thank you so much, Bali Mardan Prabhu, for doing such an amazing job. And thank you to the entire team and all the devotees who are watching us online. It has been a wonderful year, and we look forward to more. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Proshtapadyam Purnamasam Hemasinga Samanvitam Dadatiyo Bhagavatam Syati Paramam Gatim. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Adeli Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Team ISB ki Jai. BBD ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Bhadra Purnima Dana Yajna ki Jai. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and we'll see you next year. Hare Krishna.